Hey everybody, welcome back to Writing with Miss Maxie. I'm happy to see you again. And today we are drafting our ending. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll start off like we always do. Looking at the writing path, we are still in step 5, drafting the end today. The materials you'll need are your iReady writing book and a pencil. And our I can statements are I can identify the main parts of a narrative paragraph and I can draft a narrative paragraph. I realized that yesterday I forgot to show you an example of a middle. So before we get started today, I'm going to show you an example of the middle that I wrote yesterday on page 54. The middle I wrote was, Anne took Helen to the water pump. She let the cool water splash on Helen's hand. In the other hand, she made the letter signs for WATER for water. Now, remember that your middle and my middle should not be the same. Your middle needs to be your own work. But I just wanted to give you another example of what a middle could look like. Because remember, we had Ava's up here. And now you have mine right here. These are both examples of middles of narrative paragraphs you can use to help you write your own. So before we go any farther, if you want to go edit your middle on page 54, pause your video right now and go ahead and do that. Remember that it should include details about what the characters think, feel, or do. Okay? All right, and when you're done with that, come back and let me clear my annotations. We're moving on to page 55. Write the end. So, study the end of Ava's paragraph. Then try writing the end of your paragraph. So again, they have part of Ava's from the mentor text right here, so we don't have to keep flipping back to see it. It says, people began calling George the plant doctor. Later, when George grew up, he helped solve farmers' problems all over the country. All right, so now that we have an example of an ending here, what do you think the end of a narrative paragraph should include? What did we go over when we talked about the 3 parts of a narrative paragraph here on page 52? What did we say about the end? That's right. The end of our story should make sense and make the story feel finished and tell how the story ends. And I think Ava has done just that because she told us what happened when George grew up. Let's follow the instructions here to help us understand her ending a little bit more. It says, underline the words that help Ava finish the story. So go ahead and pause your video. Underline the words that help Ava finish the story. Come back when you're done. We'll go over it together. The words I underlined that I think helped Ava finish the story were later when George grew up, he helped solve farmers' problems all over the country because it tells us what happens as George got older. And that helps me feel like the story has come to an end. All right, so you can edit the underlining you did if you want, and then we're gonna move on. I'll clear my annotations. All right, now for my paragraph. It says write 2 different endings for your paragraph. Hint, what happened after Helen learned her first word? So I'm going to give you an example of an ending that I might write, but I need you to come up with your own endings. This is just an example. One ending I could write is Helen learned many, oops, I didn't mean to be in caps. Helen learned many more words. She even learned to write and speak. All right, that tells us what happened after she learned her first word, and it tells us what happened as time went on, kind of like Ava did, which helps us feel like the story has come to an end. If I don't love this ending, that's okay because it's just a draft and I can come up with another one. If I had to think of a second ending, I would say later, Helen Keller became a famous writer and speaker. She helped many others who were blind and deaf. And this does the same thing. It tells us what happened after Helen learned her first word, and it tells us what happened as time went on. So again, it helps feel like the story has come to an end. Okay, so make sure to pause your video. Take time to write 2 different endings for your paragraph right here, and come back when you're done. All right, if you're here, that means you have already written 2 different endings for your paragraph. I am so proud of us because that means that we have drafted our beginning, our middle, and our end. And now that we have all 3 parts of our narrative paragraphs, we can begin to put them all together. So I want you to turn to page 64 in your book. 64. Let's find it. Right here. And it gives you space to write your paragraph. It says, write your narrative paragraph. How did Helen Keller learn that letters form words? So you can turn back in your book to page 53. Page 53, where you drafted your beginning. Pick your favorite beginning and copy it onto page 64. So you should take one of these and put it on page 64. And then we're going to do the same thing with the middle. So turn back to page 54. Page 54 right here. Take what you wrote for the middle and copy it to page 64. So now you have your beginning and your middle here. And then we're going to add our ending. So go back to page 55. Page 55, right here, write the end. And pick your favorite ending, one of these, and copy it down on page 64. All right, so you should have a whole draft. You should have the beginning, the middle, and the end on page 64. And if you need more room, page 65. Okay, your Schoology assignment for the day is to upload a picture of page 64 and 65 if you wrote on it, so I can see your beginning, your middle, and your end all put together. All right? So again, your assignment for the day is to upload a picture of your completed draft on page 64 and 65 to Schoology. So completed draft means beginning, middle, and end. I cannot wait to read what you guys have written. I am so excited to see your drafts. So make sure you upload them, and I'll see you tomorrow. We can continue to make our drafts even better. Bye, guys.